I'm Kathryn Hale, and this is my audience. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. During the 2000s, there were many successful fantasy young adult authors, such as Rochelle Mead, Vampire Academy, Tahira Mafi, Shatter Me, and Stephanie Meyer, Twilight. One major author who wrote one of the most famous young adult series in the entire world is Cassandra Clare. This series, which currently consists of 21 different books, is known as the Shadowhunter Chronicles. The Shadowhunter Chronicles are split up into 5 series, along with other standalone books that are compiled of short stories about certain characters. These books are sold all over the world, and according to Bob Menzensheimer with USA Today, by 2013, 7 of her 8 books at the time all debuted on the USA Today's best-selling books list. I started reading these books at the very end of 2022, and by now I have read all of the books in the Shadowhunter Chronicles that are currently released. After interviewing Claire about her brand new and very first adult novel, Swordcatcher, Katie Fraser from The Bookseller reveals that Claire stated that she is not through with the Shadowhunter Chronicles. She still has plans for an entire series called The Wicked Powers. A little less than a month ago, I actually had the pleasure of meeting Cassandra Clare. She was very nice and absolutely hilarious, and she discussed Swordcatcher and her new Kickstarter project to fund additional books in the Shadowhunter Chronicles. Her very first series, The Mortal Instruments, follows a group of 6 people who band together to fight demons and save the world from destruction. The Mortal Instruments saga consists of many of the main elements of a story, including setting, plot, characters, and relationships. There are 2 main locations in the Mortal Instruments series. The first one is the New York Institute. There are many Shadowhunter Institutes all over the world, such as the London Institute from the Infernal Devices and the LA Institute from the Dark Artifices. Shadowhunter Institutes are sort of a base for Shadowhunters. These are places where all Shadowhunters can go and study or take shelter from threats in the outside world. 3 of the main characters, Jace, Izzy, and Alec, all live in the New York Institute. The other main location in the Mortal Instruments series is Idris, which capital is Alicante. This is a fictional Shadowhunter mainland that Claire created. It is very prominent in City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire, the last 3 books in the series. Other major places are the Fairy Realm, which is in City of Glass, Magnus's Penthouse, which in City of Ashes was coined as St. Magnus's wayward home for Shadowhunters, and Edom, which is a hell dimension in which the majority of the main fight in City of Heavenly Fire takes place. Another major element of a story is plot. The Mortal Instruments series is split up into 2 different trilogies. The first 3 books, City of Bones, City of Ashes, and City of Glass, are based on the villain Valentine Morgenstern, which is actually Clary's father. He kidnaps her mother and his ex-wife, Jocelyn Fairchild, and his goal in life is to rid the world of all demon blood, including downworlders. He was very prominent in the first 3 books, but he dies in City of Glass by Clary at the Mortal Mirror, which is also known as Lake Lynn. The second set of the series is City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, and City of Heavenly Fire. The main villain in that portion is Sebastian Morgenstern, Clary's brother and Valentine's son. Exactly opposite his father, his goal in life was to take over the Shadowhunter world with demon blood. He eventually kidnaps both Clary and Jace, and Clary finally kills him in the final book, in Edom. Another main portion of a story are characters. One of the main characters, Clarissa Fairchild, Clary, is the daughter of Jocelyn Fairchild and Valentine Morgenstern. Her brother is Sebastian Morgenstern. She was chosen to save the world. Clary is very special because she is the only Shadowhunter ever that can create her own runes. No Shadowhunter has ever been able to do this. Another main character is Jonathan Christopher Herondale, also known as Jace. Jace has had many different last names. We first started with Wayland when Valentine kidnapped him and pretended to be a Wayland. Then when Valentine supposedly died, Jace became a Lightwood because he was adopted by the Lightwoods, Alec and Izzy's parents. Next, he became a Morgenstern when Valentine told him that Clary and Jace were siblings, so he was a Morgenstern. Finally, he learned the truth that he was a Herondale. Jace is the son of Stephen and Celine Herondale. He was raised by Valentine. Our next character is Isabel Lightwood, Izzy. She is the daughter of Robert and Maris Lightwood and the sister of Alec Lightwood. A lot of shadow hunters have a main weapon that they use, and hers is a snake whip that can curl around her wrist to look like a bracelet. Next is Simon. Simon has had a rough time learning his species. He was originally a human, then he was kidnapped by vampires and turned into a vampire. Next, he drank some of Jace's blood, becoming a daylighter, which means that he is a vampire who can walk in the sun. Then a demon erased his memories, so he was now human, and finally he went to the Shadowhunter Academy to become a Shadowhunter again. He is Clary's best friend. Our next character is Alexander Lightwood, Alec. He is the son of Robert and Maris Lightwood, and he is Izzy's brother. His signature weapon is a bow and arrow. Our final character is Magnus Bane. He is the High Warlock of Brooklyn, and he is over 400 years old. His father is Asmodeus, a greater demon. This is actually the demon who erases Simon's memories, and he loves to help Shadowhunters. The next major element of a story is relationships. The first relationship in the story is Clary and Jace. Clary and Jace both meet and fall in love in City of Bones. However, at the very end of City of Bones, Valentine tells them that they are siblings, although this is not true. In City of Glass, they actually kiss even though they still think they are siblings, but right after they find out that they are no longer siblings. They are very distant with each other in City of Fallen Angels and City of Lost Souls, but they end up with a happily ever after in City of Heavenly Fire. The next relationship is Izzy and Simon. Simon in City of Bones is absolutely in love with Clary. However, he finally starts liking Izzy and they date in City of Glass, but they decide to remain friends. They finally admit their feelings to each other in City of Heavenly Fire, but Simon has his memories erased and they do not actually get together until Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy. Next is Alec and Magnus. Alec and Magnus had a very rough relationship because in the very first book, Alec was actually in love with his parabatai, Jace. Magnus convinces him to date though, and they keep it a secret for a few books. In City of Glass, Alec uses a fearless rune which lets him show his love for Magnus. In City of Lost Souls, Magnus and Alec break up because Alec is very upset over realizing that Magnus is immortal and Alec will grow old while Magnus will not. The final relationship is Jace and Alec. They are parabatai, which is a bond that is stronger than brothers. They are best friends and essentially adoptive brothers. The Mortal Instruments Saga by Cassandra Clare is a staple in young adult literature. There are very few other series, if any, that has this many books and has been this successful. Clare is continuing her journey in the Shadowhunter Chronicles to this day by writing more and more books in the series. Her first series, The Mortal Instruments, incorporates multiple elements of fiction, such as setting, plot, characters, and relationships. Clare's ability to create such detailed characters and plot points have aided in her path to fame. Thanks to this beginning series, Clare will continue to be a notable name in fantasy literature. Thank you. This is my audience. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.